Well, hello, welcome back. This will be a concept video for, I guess this would be weeks 4 through 6, or modules 4 through 6. I'm just going to build on some of the projects you've already done and the first concept video. So again, I'm always opening, actually not open, it's going to be new. And I'm going to show you a little bit now on the file templates. So if I select here advanced, it actually shows the new SolidWorks documents. And actually, I don't know why this says tutorial here. That's kind of weird. But it has a standard part. I guess it starts with that name as tutorial. Maybe I overwrote that. SolidWorks. And it starts with, if you look at the file extension there, I'll do it again here. It's .prtdot. So it starts with which is a part document template. So that's what the .sldprt or prtdot stands for. On this one, this is the assembly. It starts with an ASM.dot. That's the file extension. These three, actually all of these really are templates for, one is for a part, one is for an assembly, one is for a drawing. Okay. Now these default ones here, if I go back to novice, this is the same thing as in the advanced, this part. You can see it's highlighted. Let's highlight assembly in the advanced view, and I'm going to go back to novice. Oh, this one isn't highlighted. That's kind of weird. Let's do it the other way around. If I single click assembly and then go back to advanced, see, it doesn't show this as being, okay, so they work, these are not dependent on each other. So you actually have, within the SolidWorks framework, you actually have three different types of files. You have a solid part file, you have a solid part, or let's say, let me rephrase that. You have a SolidWorks part file, you have a SolidWorks parts template. That's what launches here. That's what you're launching when you open a new part. And then you have a SolidWorks assembly file, and then you have a SolidWorks assembly template. That's what launches here when you make an assembly. It'll open up the template, and whenever you do that, we'll do it again with a part, just like we always have. And I can just start from here, from the advanced view, and go okay. And the part opens. Oh, it's kind of slow. I had computer issues, and I should be a little faster, but I guess I'm not. So from here, it shows here part 1. You can see my file name, and this is not saved. This has no location to it. If I go File, Save As, I wonder if it's not saved, where it's going to save. Oh, it saved it somewhere. No, it didn't save it anywhere. So I didn't have to do a Save As because there was no location for that part file. And you can see it's going to save this at this PC, in my downloads folder here. So I can select the desktop, and in my file location will change. And again, like on the naming convention, again, is going to be Buchler M, and I'll just do sample part or something. So this would be whatever the assignment name is. And you can see it's going to, by default, it saves as a .sldprt. But I can actually choose to go in. This drop-down menu gives me all these options, and with these drop-down menus, I can come down here and say, oh, is it not give me these options here? Dun, dun, dun. Part template. And that's kind of wonky. Well, I guess it's okay, because I was hoping this would say, where it says part template, I think this should say SolidWorks part template. But instead it just says parts template. Okay. And then these are some different, I'm sure there's an AutoCAD one in here, right? Is there an AutoCAD? CATIA. IGES is commonly used. So you can save it in different forms. The problem with the different formats is if you have a different software, that's great. It's the other applications, the other softwares don't necessarily, well, most of them, I don't know if any of them would convert the design tree correctly to show how you built the part, and which would allow you to go back and edit. Now you can edit the part no matter how complex it is in the new software, but you can't go back in, and it's not going to look like a SolidWorks feature manager design tree in these other softwares. But again, I could save this as a part, which is the default, or I could save this as a part template. Now, I think in the intermediate class, Gary's going to go over saving the template, and there's a few things you would probably want to do as far as getting in the settings and changing some document properties. And you can also make sure in this case, if I go to inch pound second, so whenever I bring up my next part, I can, let's see if I can do this. I can save this as, let's see, if I go to the part template, it's going to go to this location, language English tutorial, and I'm not sure if it's going to it might not allow me to overwrite it. Let's see if I say overwrite. So yeah, it won't let me overwrite, but the one thing it will do, because I'm not logged in as administrator right now, but the one thing it will do, if I go in and I do a file, save as, and I'm going to I'll put like SAC part. I'll do, how about SAC inch part? And it'll save this in the same place as a part template. Let's try it again, part template. And I'm going to go save. Oh, see, now it's telling me I don't have permission to save. So I need to make sure, oh, it says you can save in the Mike B folder instead. I'll just go ahead and say yes and go save. And let's see if I can close this out and go, see, this problem is this doesn't point to that Mike B folder. Now I could go in and go open, and I think I'd need to go to, I'd have to find it here. Is it down here in users? No, it's in here. Users, Mike B, documents. No. Desktop. Downloads. Let's try downloads. No. Here it is. SAC inch part. It's in my regular Mike B folder. So now I'm opening this, and it is changed to inch pound second, which I should probably, I really need to go back and change that in the default, or make a new template that I open. But again, if I go to save this, I go to save as, it will save this as a solid part file, not a solid part template. SolidWorks part template. So real quick, also, that's a little bit on the file templates. I'll also go in and I'm going to go sketch, and maybe I don't know, some of you really struggled with this, but if I go through and I dimension this box, and I'm just going to add dimensions on this, and I'll dimension this side dimension, this box, yes, yes. You can see this shows still as underdefined, okay? If I bring this up, you don't really have to move this, but if I select this line and with my left hand, I hold Control and I select the part origin. So I have a line and my part origin, and I make these coincident. I'm going to say yes. These two lines go from black to blue. These two lines are still blue. The vertical lines shown here with the vertical sketch relation are blue. There is the sketch relations here for the center mark. This makes this a rectangle. Actually, it doesn't make it it makes it a rectangle. I was thinking a square because you can change. This isn't a square because these have different dimensions here. But with this coincident relation, you can actually grab this endpoint or any of these blue entities, this line or this line, and you can drag this along this coincident point where this part origin is. Okay. If I select that endpoint and select delete, I can drag the whole box in all different directions, right? So when you're defining the location of your part within this first sketch, and I did go over this, of course, in the first video demos, but you need to select a point, not a line. And I can select this midpoint. I can get to this midpoint with my left hand, hold Control down, and select this part origin. And now select coincident. And I'm going to say yes. And you can see this sketch relation is between the part origin and the midpoint of the line. And all of these four lines are now black, and it shows down here fully defined. Okay? So that's really key. I think some of you were struggling with exactly how to make sure it's fully defined. If I delete that, there's another way to do it, which is okay. I'm not a big fan of this. I want you to get used to using the origin. And I'm not going to mark you down on I think on any project for using this, but if you select a point, you can actually, the flyout menu here is make fixed. So I can fix this point. And there is a, if you highlight that point, it does show you the vertex, which is the point. I mean, it's a vertex of two lines, but it shows this point as this within the Cartesian coordinates of my view. This is x minus almost ½ inch and y 1.5. So it does give, it's an actual fixed position within our 2D sketch plane. I'm not a big fan of this because you'll see later on with more, I want to say, complex parts. It's just a good idea to, how can I explain why? It's just not best practice. I'll just say that. It's okay. I mean, you could do it that way. It's fine. Oh, I know one of the reasons is when you go to mirror and you go to do certain things, you can use the default plane. And if you use a fixed point that's off the origin, then you're not going to be able to do that. So it's really a good idea to use the original part origin as we get into more parts where we're mirroring and we're doing perpendicular features from the original base sketch. So that's kind of one of the reasons, probably one of the biggest reasons, but it's just best practice. So hopefully this helps. And I'll probably be, you'll get some more assignments up. I'm not going to do everything, but I'm to the end of the course, but I'll probably put everything up to just before the assemblies, so you're able to work on all of that. And then we'll do the final test is going to be really just focused on assemblies. So let's get through the parts first. All right. Thank you.